Yo, what's up, incredible Earthlings? How are you doing today, wonderful souls? I hope you're well, my friends. Are you ready to help me in spreading peace to the whole world? Well, if you are, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Because today, we shall be spreading love to the whole world, making sure all Earthlings live with honesty and are able to forgive one another. That way we can have a world full of good vibes. My friend, we shall be doing that by reacting together to interesting videos. Very interesting videos, by the way. You see, let's dive in so that you may know what types of videos I'm talking about. I am Y311H. Straight out of Africa! With lots of good vibes. Let's dive in. Hey, look at this. Oh, my friends. Oh, this is the beginning and we see creatures like this one. Oh, this one looks like some mermaid or something like that. My friends, do you think these creatures are real? This is very abnormal. Oh, this is... How do these things exist here on Earth, the wonderful souls and ourselves? We don't know about them, or if those that know about them should tell us. Be honest with everybody, you see? Anyway, my friends, you tell me if you think these are real creatures or just some CGI stuff, you see? And watch till the end. Oh, look at this one. This mermaid even have some clothes on. Hey, my friend, it's like they also have clothes there in the water. Hiya! How did they get clothes? Or this one was some person that just transformed to a mermaid? You, what do you think about this, my friends? Leave your thoughts, man. Signs of the end times. Oh, this is crazy, my friends. Look at this. Look at those circular stuff there in the sky. Oh, and you see this was recorded recently, very recently in April, the other day in China. You see? And this is crazy stuff, my friends. You see? Look at those rings there in the sky and you might wonder what has caused the formation of them. You see? Hey, how can you explain this stuff? Look at this other one. Oh my god. Looks like some ship there, or what is this thing? How can you explain this stuff, good people of Earth? You see? It was also spotted someplace there in China. Is this real or is this
the
fake?
cordyceps fungus, and it survives by turning insects into zombies. They lose control over their bodies and behavior when infected by this parasitic fungi. The cordyceps fungus reproduces by dispersing spores in the air. These spores enter the bodies of its unsuspecting host by clinging to their exoskeletons. Over the next 4 to 5 days, the fungus spores grow by feeding on its host's organs, but the insect's behavior shows no sign of pain. It gets increasingly hyperactive, hypersexual, or zombie-like. Eventually, it'll be triggered to head to a more humid microclimate that's better suited to the development of the fungus. An infected ant feels compelled to climb a high branch and bite into a leaf or stem with all its strength. The growing fungus spores eat up the last of the ant's internal organs as it stays in place, anchored by its bite. This vantage point offers optimum light and humidity for the cordyceps to mature over the next 3 weeks. The ant eventually dies, and the fungus blooms out of its head. It's now ready to disperse more spores that latch onto other ants passing by. The cordyceps fungus can easily wipe out entire ant colonies.
Here are a few reasons not to use a metal spoon with honey. Metals like copper and iron, which are commonly found in spoons, could destroy the beneficial enzymes. Honey could also absorb a small amount of metal from the spoon, giving it a metallic taste. Metal spoons can cause the honey to oxidize, which can affect its taste and its texture. Using wooden spoons is the best for preserving the integrity of the honey. Wooden spoons are non-reactive and won't harm honey enzymes or cause the honey to oxidize.
75% of the mass of a human brain is made up of a substance called myelin. And myelin is made up 100% by cholesterol. I'll leave it there. On a separate and completely unrelated subject, Alzheimer's disease is a neurodegenerative brain disease which destroys brain cells. Now, Alzheimer's never existed until 1979, and yet now it is one of the leading causes of death in Western societies. On a separate and completely unrelated subject, Margarine was first invented in 1869 because Napoleon wanted a cheaper and longer lasting fat for his armies to travel with. It didn't gain popularity until the Second World War, when butter and other animal fats were scarce. Grew in popularity in the 50s, but by the 70s the animal fats in it had been replaced with vegetable oils, because obviously animal fats contain saturated fat and a lot of cholesterol, so they wanted to offer a lower cholesterol alternative. I'll leave it there. On a separate and completely unrelated subject, margarine is one molecule away from being plastic. Now, as any chemist will tell you, one molecule can make a huge difference to the finished compound. Take ethanol and methanol, for example. One molecule difference, but very, very, very different results when ingested into the human body. Right? So I'll leave it there. On a separate and completely unrelated subject, a simple experiment to do at home is to take a slab of butter, a slab of vegetable margarine with no animal fats in, and a slab of plastic, and stick them all outside in your garden and have a look what happens. Very quickly, all the wildlife in the area is going to be attracted to that butter, from the flies and the beetles and the mini beasts, through the birds, the rodents, all the way up to the apex predators, foxes, badgers, bears. If there happens to be no other wildlife around, then bacteria and mold will very, very quickly consume it, because it's easily digestible for all organic life forms. The margarine and the plastic will sit there for weeks. Nothing in nature will touch them. Try it. I'll leave it there. On a separate and completely unrelated subject, I invite all GPs out there to check your patients' medical records and see how many of your dementia and specifically Alzheimer's patients have been on statins and or low cholesterol diets for many years. I'd be very interested to hear your feedback in the comments, and I'll leave it there.
NASA just found something really strange in their asteroid samples that were just brought back to Earth from asteroid Bennu, and it's something you might not expect. First of all, let's start off with a little bit of background info. On September 8th, 2016, NASA launched their OSIRIS-REx mission, which would become the first mission to return samples back to Earth from asteroid Bennu, a near-Earth asteroid. It would take OSIRIS-REx over 2 years for it to finally reach asteroid Bennu, and once there, it didn't take the samples immediately. Instead, it actually waited. It spent around 2 years surveying asteroid Bennu, trying to find the perfect spot to take the samples. During this time, OSIRIS-REx's landing site was narrowed down to 4 locations, with ultimately location Nightingale being chosen due to how safe it would be for OSIRIS-REx to land there and the scientific output. Finally, the day came for OSIRIS-REx to land on asteroid Bennu at Site Nightingale, and it had a very interesting mechanism that it would use to collect its sample of asteroid Bennu. It would actually shoot a puff of nitrogen gas as it hit the surface of asteroid Bennu, and this would force any loose regolith to basically go into its collection mechanism. Additionally, as it collected its sample of asteroid Bennu, it just needed to fire its thrusters and get out of there, because the big issue of asteroid Bennu is that its surface is so loose that OSIRIS-REx could just continue through and get really stuck into the asteroid, and we don't want that. Here's the footage of OSIRIS-REx's landing on October 20th, 2020, and you can just see how loose the regolith is on asteroid Bennu. After OSIRIS-REx's sample attempt, it was instructed to point its sample head at its camera in order to see if the attempt was successful. Initially, a maneuver was planned after this in which OSIRIS-REx would spin in order to determine the mass of the sample taken, and if that mass was below 60 grams, then potentially they could go back to asteroid Bennu and try to get a little bit more of a sample. But based off of this image, they figured that most likely they had already exceeded their target, and any attempt to try to spin OSIRIS-REx could result in more sample being lost. So then they decided to go ahead and put the sample in its sample return container. More than a year later, OSIRIS-REx would depart asteroid Bennu and begin its journey back to Earth. But before doing that, it actually went back and imaged its landing site, so you could actually see the before and after of its sample site and the change it made to the surface. Once OSIRIS-REx was approaching Earth, it would actually jettison its sample canister, and it needed to make sure that it was on the right trajectory to properly enter Earth's atmosphere and burn up and land on the Utah testing range. After this, OSIRIS-REx had another very important task, and that was to burn its thrusters to get out of the way to not burn up in Earth's atmosphere. Here is some of the footage of OSIRIS-REx landing on the U.S. military's Utah test range. And this dot you see there is OSIRIS-REx carefully gliding down to the surface. Here are also some images that were taken of it after it landed on the surface. Following this, they had the very important task of airlifting it to their lab. Following this, they had to carefully place the sample capsule into the clean room, where then the capsule would be opened and the samples would be removed. Once the samples were back in their clean room, they were actually able to access the samples that were on the outside of the mechanism, but the samples trapped more deeply inside the mechanism would require the mechanism to be disassembled that caught them. They had another issue. Basically, two of the fasteners that were holding the sample head on did not want to budge, and they didn't want to force them either, because if they forced them, they could risk potentially shaving off a piece of metal from the sample head, which could potentially contaminate the sample. So they needed to develop a tool that would help them remove these two stuck fasteners. Perhaps most interesting about these samples was they made a rather interesting discovery that they actually have evidence of carbon and water in them. You might be wondering what happened to the part of OSIRIS-REx still in space. Well, it's going into the extended mission phase, where NASA will be now getting a free mission to asteroid Apophis, and it will arrive in 2029 after it makes its close approach of Earth. Here's the rough shape that we believe asteroid Apophis to be, and when it was first observed, we actually thought it had as high as a 2.7% chance of hitting Earth. And if it did that, it would annihilate all life on Earth as we know it. However, lucky for us, asteroid Apophis will only pass around 30,000 miles away from Earth, which is still really close. If you find this type of stuff interesting like I do, then feel free to like and follow for more space content.
They dim the light. Nice one from Apollo 14. And take a look at the sun over here. I'm going to play this video, original footage, and you can see the astronaut is leaving the lunar lander here. It comes down and watch what happens with the sun. This should be the sun, right? They are going to dim the spotlight in the studio so you can better see this lunar model. Take a look at this. Now it's gonna dim. They dim the light. it's a complete studio spotlight, a huge one. Look at this. Awesome work. Yeah, here we go. You know why they are jumping like rabbits on speed? All of those motions. Take a look. Because they are attached to wires. Look at this move. Yeah. Oh, here, take a look. Yeah. See how a rope breaks, which is attached to the astronaut. Now take a close look. There we go. There we go. That was the rope. Just like this child, bouncing. Yo. Just like this, attached to a rope. Or here on a cinema studio video, just like this.
So I have not seen one creator even speak about this, and I feel like it should be spoken about. So the EPA is currently being sued by the Fluoride Action Network after multiple studies confirm fluoride is a neurotoxin that violates the Toxic Substance Control Act and reduces kids' IQ. Now we all knew that anyway. But over the last 10 days, journalist Derek Brose has been extensively reporting on the trial and uncovering revelations that are truly astonishing. So the evidence suggests that fluoride is a neurotoxin, which means that if FAN wins this lawsuit, it could be removed nationwide. I seriously hope they win this lawsuit because it's about time we eliminated fluoride from everyone's drinking water. I mean, enough's enough.
Look at this. Natural mercury was found in some bat's nest. Oh my god. This is creepy, man. Do you mean bats produce mercury? What makes a nuclear power plant is that it utilizes nuclear power. Nuclear material the size of this can release equivalent of 2,000 liters of energy in about 12 barrels of diesel, you see? And there can be even hundreds or thousands of cylindrical particles like this in a nuclear reactor, you see? In a nuclear power plant, they are usually made up of uranium or plutonium. Do you know those? oxides, and then encapsulated in an extremely heat-resistant metal alloy. To make the fuel rods, at least a number of fuel rods are packed in the pressure, you see, to form a nuclear fuel which is placed in a metal tank. Then they are placed along with control rods and coolant, you see, in a reactor vessel made of heavy steel, and finally into the reactor building. When the reactor unit is activated, a neutron strikes the nuclear fuel. It triggers a nuclear fission reaction. In this process, the neutron absorbs and destabilizes the nucleus of the nuclear fuel, causing it to split into two or more nuclear fragments. Nuclear fusion produces a very large amount of energy, usually in the form of heat, and these fission fragments release neutrons. These neutrons released can then hit the nuclear field, nuclei triggering more fish in the reaction. The chain reaction continues in the nuclear reactor. At this point, the coolant flows through the nuclear to absorb the heat. You understand? The coolant is medium used to heat the carry heat. You see? Common types of coolant that used include water, heavy water, helium, which transfers the heat to the power plants. The steam generators, as it passes through the pipes in the steam generator, it comes in contact with water or water vapor circulating outside, heating it up and converting it to steam. And then the steam drives the steam engine, and the engine drives a generator which produces electricity. As complicated as it may seem, boiling water is just a different way of boiling water. So, do you have a question? Will it explode the nuclear bomb? No, don't worry. Nuclear bombs are made high pressure and dense uranium plutonium, you see? So when fission occurs, it leads to an uncontrolled fission chain reaction. In a nuclear power plant, the uranium or plutonium is divided into rods, not compacted together. In addition, the reactor vessels has control rods, which are made of a special metal that absorbs neutrons. This controls the number of neutrons and maintains the stability of the nuclear reaction. Okay? Now, do you get it?
I'm praying this reaches who needs to hear this, but the past few days have been really hard for you. You've been feeling these attacks. You're questioning, am I even going in the right direction? Is God with me? Am I just going crazy? It doesn't look like it's going to happen for me. This is the enemy attacking you. And for many of you, you feel like he resurrected this old version of you, this angry version of you, this version of you that stayed in lack and disappointment all the time, that you worked so hard to get away from. And so now you're not just angry that it doesn't look like things are working out for you. You're angry because this past version of you resurfaced. There's just so many emotions right now, but I'm here to tell you, it wouldn't be like this if you weren't that close. It wouldn't be like this if the breakthrough wasn't that big. Get back in agreement with God. Pull yourself together. Get back up. Get your eyes focused on the prize. You are almost there. The enemy, he may have won a few battles, but it's up to you to let him win the war. So what? He got you yesterday. Today is a new day. Our God is so amazing. He's the only thing that can pick up those broken pieces of you and mend you back together. He is with you right now with his arms wide open, ready to love you and cherish you and help you to keep moving forward, no matter what yesterday looked like. I am truly praying for you. I am praying that you don't let the enemy keep you down. You pull yourself back up and you keep moving forward, because it wouldn't be like this. The emotions wouldn't feel like this if you weren't that close, and you truly are. I'm rooting for you. I'm praying for you. Keep going.
The brain, which secretes the melatonin, which is the single eye, the third eye. The pineal gland of the brain. Up until recently, scientists didn't know what the heck it did in the middle of the brain, but you know what? If you go back into the book, Genesis chapter 32, verse 30, Jacob says, I have seen God face to face. Here you had modern science not even knowing what the pineal gland did up until a few years ago, and here's Jacob 6,000 years ago saying, I have seen God face to face. I'll call the place pineal. He's talking about the pineal gland of the brain. It's phenomenal how little we know about ourselves and how much we've swallowed from religious teachers.
In various mystical and esoteric traditions worldwide, the pineal gland is considered a center of spiritual and metaphysical insight and the primary location for the soul or spirit within the body. In occult symbolism, it is often associated with the transmutation and circulation of subtle energies within the body, including spiritual and psychic energies. Others think of it as the third eye, or the seat of spiritual consciousness and intuition. They believe the pineal gland functions.
Can you look at it now or no?
Oh, my friends, this looks interesting, man. You see? Oh, it looks like the footage of the solar eclipse that just happened the other day. You see? Good people of Earth, from where you are watching from, did you experience this solar eclipse that happened? Did you get to see it? You see? And this is how allegedly it went down. You see? Now, if you saw it, you can help us to confirm if this is really what was going down. You see? Oh, look at that. What looks like some ring. Oh, it's crazy, man. It looks wonderful. See? Just like this good vibes human that made what looks like some boat, which is full of good vibes using a reef. And this is how you can do it, you see? Just for having fun or some good time there and just to enjoy yourself, you see? This good vibes human came up with a way of making a very interesting boat that can...
That actually has me kind of baffled. I'm not really sure what happened here. I need you guys to watch this and let me know your opinions.
Alright, so a lot of people from the comments wanted to know my story about the glitch in the Matrix, my experience. And I wasn't too sure to make this video because I never told this story to anyone. First of all, people might say I'm crazy, and second of all, they might say that I made it up, which even if I wanted to, I couldn't make this up. So here it goes. When I was 7 years old, I remember my mum had to go to hospital for an operation. It had something to do with under her armpit and with her left breast. I'm not really sure what it was. She still has the scar to this day. And I remember I had to stay with my grandma from my mum's side for a couple of days, and then from my dad's side grandma for a couple of days. And whenever my dad would come and visit and bring me like change of clothes, I would beg him to come see mum, but he told me, you know, it's not a place for kids, she's really sick now. So it was, I was really upset for like a week because I didn't see my mum and I was used to her. That time I was the only child. This was before my siblings were all born. And before my mum left the hospital, she always had a long slim face. She had long black hair. And the main thing, which is important to this story, she was taller than my dad. And I know this for a fact, because I remember my auntie used to make, you know, funny comments about it. I remember when I was younger, I used to compare my size to my mum and dad. And my mum would say things like, well, I'm taller than both of you. So I know for a fact that she was taller than my dad. I think week after she came back from hospital, I was at my grandma's place. I remember it like it was yesterday. She came back and she brought me this chocolate phone. It was like a phone but a chocolate phone. And when she came up to me, I looked at her and I was in shock. And I didn't know what to say or who to say it to or if I'm crazy. But she did not look like my mum. She had a round face. She had short black hair. And she was actually smaller than my dad. And I was in, even now when I think about it, I'm still in shock, to be honest. And yeah, I was like really shy of her, or like scared of her. You know, like when a child meets someone for the first time. That was literally how I was acting towards my mom at 7 years old, after only not seeing her for a week. And my dad and my grandma was like, come on, go to your mom, you know, you haven't seen her in a long time, what's wrong with you? And yeah, I didn't want to go to her. And after few days after, I asked my mom, how come you are not taller anymore than that? And she looked at me and she laughed. She said, what? I was never taller than your dad. And they started making fun of me. And they started saying like things, oh, imagine if she would actually be taller than him. And this made me really angry because I didn't know what's going on. And there was also little changes in, it wasn't just visual, it was her personality as well. Because before she went to the hospital, I remember my mom being really, really loving. Especially because I was the only child, so I was like their baby. And after she came back, she was really cold towards me. She wasn't the same. She didn't just hug me throughout the day or kiss me. She would be really cold. And yeah, it never changed after that, you know, nothing changed after that. I just got used to it. But I still think about it to this day, like, if I made it all up, or if it really happened.
First of all, person that's telling the story, I want you to know that I believe you. We believe you. It definitely sounds like the mother was replaced. Unless this person telling the story switched timelines and in like this timeline, this is what the mom looked like. But why would this person switch timelines? Like they weren't the one that's sick. Normally if it's like a quantum immortality thing, it's like someone dies, right? And then they leap over into another timeline. But this girl was fine and it was her mom that was sick. And then her mom came back different, looking different, acting different. I really need help here, guys. What is happening?
This had over 700,000 views. Now what I'm about to share with you is extremely powerful. This is for insight, intuition, and higher consciousness. Now read the caption before you use it. And if you can't do it right now, save the video and come back to it later. Otherwise, get comfortable, and here we go. So all I like you to do, once you're comfortable, is keep your head exactly where it is, but just look upwards with your eyes. Just imagine there's this dot just in between your eyebrows, so you're looking in and up. And as you're doing that, I'd like you to take a big deep breath in through your nose and a big exhale through your nose. Good. Now just keep looking in and up. And a big breath in. Good. And a big breath out. And as we do this, your eyes are just becoming a little bit more tired, like they want to rest. They're just beginning to blink. Now all I'd like you to do is take a big breath in, a big breath out, and just close down your eyelids as we rest them. That's good. That's right. And as your eyelids are closed down, you're just still looking upwards with your eyes. And as you look upwards, your eyelids are becoming sealed tight, tightly shut. You notice them just gluing together, sealed tight, as you hear my voice just guiding you through this process. And you're just looking up, 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 up. That's right. Good. Now, as you're looking up, it just feels as if my hand is just hovering above your head. As you begin to feel the energy just flow through your body, you notice the energy just working its way down your left arm and into your left hand. That's right. And now your attention's on your left hand, you just feel this tingling type sensation, like a warm, and then it moves over to the other side and down your right arm and into your right hand. And you notice the energy there. Like the tingling sensations now in your right hand. And that sensation just continues to move around your body. Now in a moment we're going to move deeper. The moment I reach 1, a deeper wave of relaxation will just wash over you. That's 5, going deeper to 4, moving to 3, 2, 1. Good. You notice your jaw is beginning to loosen as your teeth are just separating. You may even want to let out a sigh and your shoulders will drop. Good. Now this energy has a color, and the color is unique for you. Now tell me what the color is. It will come to your mind quickly. What's the color? Good, that's right. I like that. Now that color enters your feet and it works all the way up your legs, all the way up through your hips, healing every single part of you. As your spirit knows exactly what needs healing. And that light moves to the part of you that needs healing. You know exactly where it is. That bit that's tight. And that becomes free in 3, 2, 1. Good. Now move that light up to your forehead where we were looking earlier. And beam that light all the way up through you, up, 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 all the way up into the sky. Feel that power and energy move through your body. You can enter this place anytime you want, because all that power is within you. Now in just a moment, I'm going to count you back and your full awareness will come back to now, and you will feel so much better than you did before. You will start seeking new and exciting opportunities. All the synchronicities, all the signs, they will all be there for you. And now you can see them. 1, shutting the door to your subconscious mind. 2, becoming more alert. 3, 4, becoming more awake, wide awake. And 5, push your eyelids wide open, wide awake, and welcome back. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just get used to the light again. Good. Now let me know in the comments how you found that experience. What did you feel? What did you experience?